Hello and welcome to the New Jersey Association for College Admission Counseling College Fair. We're so excited to have you participating in this event. My name is Jennifer and I'll be your facilitator today. We have some fantastic schools. I'm excited for you to learn from them. Each will have 6 minutes to share more about their institution, but they'll be around for the entire session to answer questions. Few key reminders. Your camera and your microphone are off, so the panelists cannot see or hear you. You can ask questions, though, using the Q&A button on your screen. You can type your questions to our presenters at any time. You can leave a question for all of them to answer, maybe a specific major or program you're looking for, but you also can direct a question to a specific school by including the name of the institution with your question. This is just one of many different sessions that have been happening. We hope you've enjoyed the earlier ones, and it is not too late to join us for the programming that is to come. You can still head to the website that you see on the screen, strivescan.com/New Jersey, to check out the schedule and register. Also note this presentation, as well as all presentations, are being recorded. They'll be available at the same website where you registered in the coming days. I'm excited to turn it over to our first school and get started. So we'll be hearing from Elizabethtown College. Ooh. Carrie? Oh, good. Carrie, your screen looks great. So we're just when you camera and mute and unmute, and we'll be set. Carrie? Oh, looks like we are having a little bit of technical difficulty. We all know how that goes on Zoom. So let's just take a minute to solve that. All right, so I think we're going to pause and we're going to ask our second institution if they are able to get us started instead right now. Stevens Institute.
I am ready if you want to.
Great,
I am so sorry. I was just struggling there. I'm sorry, everyone.
That's okay. For 2 years, we all know the Zoom life. It is okay. We've all been there for sure. Carrie, I'm just glad everything's okay. All right, take it away.
Well, can you see everything?
Yes, I can. Looks great. Sounds great. You're good to go.
Well, I am Carrie Borman from Elizabethtown College, and I'm so glad to be here with you today and just talk about the ways that we support and celebrate the community of our students that are LGBTQA+, and I think you'll enjoy hearing about it too. So we are about, at the closest part of New Jersey, we're about 2 hours from you, and the furthest part of New Jersey, we're about 3 hours from you. So it's not too far of a drive, and it's a really great change of atmosphere too, if you're looking to try something new at school. We are located in South Central Pennsylvania, so we are 10 minutes from the capital of Pennsylvania, which is terrific for our political science majors and pre-law majors. We are also 10 minutes from Hershey Park, so there's lots of amusement and fun, and it's a touristy area around here. But also there's a lot of history here and a beautiful local flavor that comes from the Amish community that had settled here hundreds of years ago from Switzerland and Germany. So you'll hear a lot of different accents around our area that are fantastic. And then there's also Lancaster City, which brings a lot of culture to our area. The arts, and the galleries and the restaurants there are just fantastic. So, and Elizabethtown itself, the town is about 15,000 people. So it's a small town, open green space, but access to a lot of fun in the area. We have about 1,700 students with a 13-to-1 student to faculty ratio, and our average student GPA is a 3.75. If you have less than that, I don't want to discourage you. Being a small school, we are perfectly equipped to accommodate all types of students, and we have students who are in the 2s, and we have students that are 4.4s. So it is a strong GPA, and our students are fantastic, but we can help any type of student. And we've had over a 17% increase this year for our incoming class of underrepresented people. So we're so glad to keep pushing the barrier there to get a big group of diversity here. And New Jersey is actually our #2 state on campus. We have so many New Jersey students, and in fact, we actually give them a special scholarship too for coming here. So I really encourage you to apply here as a New Jersey student. These are the majors we have. They are divided up into schools, but we pretty much have anything that you could imagine here. If you have questions about any of them, I'll be putting my information in the chat after this presentation. But now I want to focus on how we support our students who identify as LGBTQIA plus. And one of the ways we do that starts from the very beginning, even before you're a student here. If you have a preferred name that you'd like to use and maybe not use it around your parents, we will honor that, and we will be very careful on how we address you in different situations. And then we also, once you are a student, offer some name change resources and guidance that will help our students. Also, we have special housing that kind of just makes this community just feel safe and be themselves and just know they're among allies. And that place is called Stonewall. We also have gender inclusive restrooms throughout our campus and are continuously adding more of those. And we also have the Gender Sexuality Alliance, which is a student-run organization that not only brings awareness to the campus, but also coordinates some fun celebrations for the campus as well. And I'll talk about those in the next slide. And then we also offer counseling services that are completely free to all students. And then we also have health insurance. Now, we want all students to have health insurance when they come to Elizabethtown College. The health insurance carrier we have, if students do not have that insurance, they can purchase our insurance. And our carrier offers hormone therapy, which is very unusual for colleges to have that type of insurance. So if that's something you're interested in, this is something that you might consider. We also have Safe Zone certified faculty and staff. You will see indicators on office doors throughout the campus that of people who have had special training just to help you in any kind of challenges you're having or point you to resources that you need. Now, we don't just support our community of students who identify as LGBTQIA+. We also have celebrations throughout the year, but 2 months in particular are really special. And that's the Heritage Month in October, and then also Pride Month, which we celebrate in April, so all of our student community can appreciate it since it's normally in June. And these events include national guest speakers, awareness signage, and sidewalk paintings. We have a gorgeous program called the Unity Project, and you can see a piece of it there in the pictures. Social justice fairs, which is all about putting together, it's almost like a trade show of sources for that provide safety, information, and then also allied clubs who really want to let you know that they're there to support you, along with lectures and movie showings, queer and history pop trivia, campus Queens drag show, that's an annual event, and a Blue Jay 5K. So I have to cut this short. So if you ever want to learn more, please just come to us. We offer a plethora of scholarships that we'd like to share with you. And I hope that we can talk sometime more, and I'll put my contact information in. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Carrie, so much for starting us off and presenting on Elizabethtown College. All right, we are moving to our next school, and we're going to be learning all about Stevens Institute of Technology.
Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you all for joining us this evening. My name is Megan Highland, and I'm the Director of Undergraduate Admissions at Stevens. I'm joined by my colleague, Liliana Delman, who is our Director of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion at the institution. I'm going to start off just with a little bit of history, a little bit about size, location, academics, and then turn it over to Liliana. So to begin with, Stevens was founded in 1870 by the Stevens family. So we celebrate our 150th anniversary back in 2020. The Stevens family were a family of inventors. They were incredibly innovative, incredibly entrepreneurial, and that's still very much a part of who we are today. We've expanded a lot since 1870. We now have just over 4,000 undergraduate students at the institution. So we welcome in about 1,000 students each year. What that looks like on a daily basis for students is an average class size of about 25 with a 12-to-1 student to faculty ratio. So if you're looking for a smaller campus community where you will know your faculty members and your peers, we would be a good fit for you. We're located in Hoboken, New Jersey, which is right across the river from New York City. We have a traditional style campus, Hoboken itself is a city, but it's just a mile by a mile. So it has much more of a neighborhood feel. You get very comfortable very quickly in that space. And then you have New York across the way for lots of social, cultural, personal, and professional opportunities. So our students really have the best of both worlds and are seamlessly moving between these spaces for their experience. We are primarily a STEM-based school. We offer over 30 different areas of study from which you can choose. You can see here the offerings within our business programs. Lots of students come to study business. That proximity to New York is a great draw. We have humanities and arts programs as well at the institution, two of our most popular being music and technology and visual arts and technology. We also, of course, have the sciences at Stevens. These programs really form the backbone of all that we offer at the institution. We have computer science, which is incredibly popular, is our most popular major at the institution. We break down our computer science program into either computer science or cybersecurity, so you choose to major in one or the other. And we also, of course, have engineering programs at Stevens. Students can choose from about a dozen different areas to pursue, and our program is a bachelor's of engineering degree. So you're getting that solid foundation in the field before diving more specifically into your chosen area of engineering. I'm going to turn it over to Liliana to talk a little bit more about our resources for our LGBTQ+ students.
Hi, everyone. Really excited to be here. Like Megan said, my name is Liliana Delman. I use she, her pronouns. I'm the director of the Office of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion at Stevens, where we support underrepresented students, particularly those who are underrepresented in STEM fields. And so that includes LGBTQ+ folks. And we're really trying to build that inclusive campus community by involving everyone in the work that we do. So we make sure that we're not only working with students, we're also working with faculty and staff, making sure that our queer and allied faculty and staff know what they can do to support each other, as well as supporting students at Stevens. That is as well through the Safe Zone program, which you may have heard before. We also do a lot of other workshops like anti-racist leadership and cross-cultural communication. Myself personally, I will advocate for each individual LGBTQ+ student throughout their process at Stevens, particularly around housing, name changes, anything that they would need. And I work with all of our LGBTQ+ student organizations, as well as our cultural and religious ones as well, which I'll talk about in a second. So let's go into our next slide. So I can talk a little bit more about those specific resources. So we do offer name, gender, and pronoun changes. Really easily, you can make that change in our information system to make sure that you're being respected and referred to in the correct way in different situations. We also will provide support if you do at some point choose to make a legal change around any of those areas. We offer gender inclusive housing options, gender inclusive restrooms in most buildings on campus. We also have a really affirming counseling and student health center staff. You get 6 free counseling sessions at Stevens, and we really pride ourselves on being a mental health affirming and safe space on campus, something we're really known for. So we encourage all students to utilize those counseling sessions. We're also really proud to be able to offer PrEP prescriptions here on campus. You don't have to leave to get that service, as well as HIV testing. Our Career Center has experts who are really knowledgeable on how to help you network with alumni and STEM industry leaders, and how to navigate those queer spaces when it comes to jobs, interviewing, and different networks. And let's move on to the next slide, where we can talk about all the fun stuff that we have. So we do a lot with our LGBTQ+ community. You can see some of the photos here. I have so many favorite events, but I've tried to keep it to a few of them. So over the summer, our incoming first years get to participate in virtual community gatherings around a lot of different identities, but certainly we have one for our LGBTQ+ students. And then we bring you all together during new student orientation for our famous and annual ice cream social during orientation. That's always so fun. Last year we had like 55 students waiting in line for ice cream, but we all got to know each other. We celebrate LGBTQ History Month in October, as well as National Coming Out Day with our famous purple door that students have signed over the years. We have our annual Pride Week in April with Pride games and athletics, keynote speakers, workshops, resource fairs, and Pride After Dark, which is an amazing drag show, student performance, resource place. It's awesome. Gender and Donuts is a new hangout that we have for trans and non-binary students, where we literally hang out, talk about gender, and eat donuts. It's a great time. Lavender graduation is a wonderful time where we celebrate LGBTQ students who are graduating and their contributions, and we hear from queer alums about their experiences. And we always make sure that we're collaborating with our 3 LGBTQ student organizations. Torch, which is our LGBTQ plus and allies organization, it's the oldest one we have on campus. OSTEM, which is a chapter of a national professional organization for LGBTQ folks who are out in STEM, OSTEM. And Transit, which is our trans and non-binary group. So you can learn more about all these services that we have online, and I'll put it in the chat.
Yes, thank you. I'm sorry, we have hit the end of our 6 minutes. It flies by. There is a reminder to our attendees. So much more about each of these schools that could be covered in 6 minutes. So remember, this is just a peek to hopefully catch your curiosity. So thank you so much to our representatives from Stevens for presenting on Stevens. And now we're moving to our next school, and that will be the University of Connecticut.
Thank you folks so much for having me. My name is Dan Teague. I'm admission officer at the University of Connecticut. So we will just hop in here. I do work with all students from New Jersey. So let me just start this here. I apologize. Start this one. Change that, of course.
Oh, good, Daniel. Good. Yep, caught that. Good job. Looks great.
Thank you so much. All right. So UConn is the flagship state institution in Connecticut. We're a top 25 public research university. We do have 5 campuses throughout the state with about 24,000 students across all of those campuses. We will focus on Storrs, as that is the main campus in northeastern Connecticut. So it gives you an idea of where we're located throughout the state. As I mentioned, 5 campuses throughout the state, Storrs being the main campus. We have about 14,000 students living there, and then about 18,000 students studying there each year. Gives you an idea of where we are located in the greater scheme. So we're about an hour and 15 or so from Providence, about an hour and a half from Boston, and then about 2 hours from New York City. So definitely, while we have tons of things going on campus, and then also in the state of Connecticut, there are a lot of large metropolitan cities around as well. Moving into a little bit about where our students are coming from, UConn definitely supports a very diverse student body that come from all different walks of life all over the world. We do have students from 90 different countries across the world. They make up roughly 15% of our student population. And then we have students that represent 47 out of 50 states in the country. New Jersey definitely being one of those. We received about 5,000 applications from students in New Jersey this year, with about 45,000 overall. So we do receive a ton of applications, and that makes up about a quarter of our student body. So with those 2 percentages, we have about a 40 to 60 for international and out of state versus in-state. Those 4 regional campuses do definitely skew that number slightly. So if you're on the Storrs campus, which students from New Jersey typically would be, you would meet students from basically, all over the world. We do have 6 cultural centers I'd like to add as well. One of those being the Rainbow Center. So those do support students, LGBTQ students. We do have a lot of different programming surrounding that. So we have socials on Friday nights, and then we do have lecture series out to lunch on Wednesday for students to take advantage of. 5 other campus centers as well across campus. And then a little bit more about student life. Athletics is definitely a big thing at the University of Connecticut. So we're a Division I NCAA program. We do have a history of winning for basketball for sure. The men's and women's basketball team are definitely very successful. But we do have tons of athletic offerings at the D1 level, club, and then also intramural sports. We have a lot of opportunities for students to get involved in campus organizations and clubs. So we do have several programs relating to LGBTQ, affairs and situations. Besides that, we do have opportunities for study abroad. So 200 plus state placements for study abroad. And then when it comes to housing, we do have 100 residence halls on campus. And then we do have living and learning communities, gender inclusive housing, as well as bathrooms across campus. 8 resident dining halls, and then we do, a fun fact, make our own ice cream on campus. So UConn was founded as an agricultural school, and we do still have a dairy cow herd on campus that produce ice cream for all of our resident dining halls. And then there is just the UConn Dairy Bar that anybody can come and visit. So definitely some of the best ice cream in New England. I'm probably a little bit biased in that, but it is some really good ice cream for sure. So definitely try that if you ever come to campus. A little bit about academic programs. These are all of our different opportunities. So 115 plus majors and minors, 320 plus minors and concentrations across 10 schools and colleges. We do have, as I said, about 18,000 students that study at our main stores campus. The student to faculty ratio is roughly 16:1. Average class size will be around 25 to 30. Some of our most popular majors would be biological sciences and psychological sciences, but we do have opportunities for students to explore academic programming within the Academic Center for Exploratory Students. This is a little bit about our selective programming. Those on the right, those are direct entry on the top. Obviously, junior entry, you're taking coursework and you're basically a pre-student for those first 2 years, and then take coursework to apply into those programs. Special programs are basically conditional admit programs that will guarantee you admission, conditional obviously on you maintaining your academics at the minimum for those programs, but they're conditional admit programs for those graduate schools. UConn does have an honors program. We have about 560 students per year that are admitted for that, so it is definitely very selective. Just a little bit about what we're looking for in the application process. I would like to say that we are still test optional for next academic year. It hasn't been officially noted or stated, but I do believe that we will be test optional through 2025. But this is just a little bit about our requirements. This is really just speaking to the fact that we use a holistic review process, basically to say that, you know, anything that you submit to us, we're going to review and we're going to use, not just your transcript or your test scores. And then finishing off with application timeline. So we're a regular decision institution at UConn. December 1st is our priority deadline for those special programs I mentioned, and then merit and honors opportunities. January 15th is our on-time application deadline. February 15th is when our FAFSA deadline comes up. And then March 1st is right around when we drop decisions, which gives you about 2 months for you to decide. For May 1st is the National Candidate Apply Date. And my time is up. So thank you all so much for having me. If you have any questions, I will put all my info in the chat. And yeah, thank you all so much. I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you so much, Daniel, for presenting on UConn. Just a reminder to our attendees, you can drop any questions you might have into the Q&A. If there's something more specific you'd like to hear about each of our schools or a certain major or program, and you'd want to hear from everyone more about that. All right, we are moving on to our next school. We are going to be learning all about Ursinus College.
Hi, everyone. Share my screen. Can you guys see this okay? Jennifer, was that a yes?
Yes, that is a yes, John.
Cool.
You are
Sorry,
all set.
I minimized the screen real quick.
That's okay. I double clicked, so I think I popped in and out. So you're all good to go.
Cool. Well, guys, I'm going to run through some fast facts, some fun facts, hopefully, and talk about the application a little bit. And hopefully at the end of this, you get to know Ursinus a little bit better. My name is John Sloan. I am the Senior Associate Director of Admissions at Ursinus. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. If you guys haven't been on campus or you've never heard of us, we're located in Collegeville, Pennsylvania, about 25 miles outside of Philadelphia. We're about a 25 to 30-minute ride outside the city. We're also next to Phoenixville, and our campus runs up along the Perkiomen Trail, which will take you into Philadelphia. It's the longest trail in the country, which is pretty cool. Our students definitely take advantage of that. Right next to it is our sustainability farm on campus that actually feeds our community. It's completely student run, and it also feeds our cafeteria and our students. We were one of the 44 colleges that changed lives. We were actually one of the original 13. So that's super, like, a lot of pride on campus around that. One of my favorite statistics about Ursinus that you'll hear today is that 94% of our students live on campus all 4 years. So through your college search, you might ask things or hear on tours, is this a backpack school, or do students go home on the weekends? And the answer here is overwhelmingly no. With so many of us on campus all the time, it is always bustling. We offer 60+ programs of study. Our top programs are biology, business, health and exercise physiology, psychology, and media and communication studies. More specifically with biology is actually pre-med. 93% of our students that applied to med school last year got in. It's been above 90% the last 10 years. and have relationships with several med schools in Pennsylvania and around the tri-state area. While you're at Ursinus, you'll go through a program called Ursinus Quest, and you'll be asking yourself and your classmates the 4 questions below all 4 years. This is something students love. It's something that faculty and staff do every semester. And then if you do come to Ursinus and you come back for things like alumni weekend or reunions, you'll be in sessions still answering those questions all those years later. It's a big part of who we are, and it's a cool tradition on campus. We were one of the founding members of the Centennial Conference. We're a Division III school. We have actually 26 varsity athletic sports. We just added women's wrestling. We have 100+ clubs and organizations on campus. Several of them include Greek life, things like mock trial, our campus activities board. Our first year to sophomore year retention rate is 87%. Our job placement rate last year was 94.4%. Every student at Ursinus has to graduate with what we call an exponential learning experience. So that means you're graduating with an internship or a research opportunity, or something like study abroad. Overwhelmingly, 60% of students last year graduated with 2. Prior to COVID, most students were graduating with 3 or 4. In terms of the application process, we offer things like RD, ED, and EA. If you apply EA or ED to Ursinus, you'll also be eligible to apply for one of our 14 specialty scholarships. These are scholarships in addition to our academic scholarships, which range from $25,000 to $40,000 per year. And it's a good opportunity to engage with faculty and staff and students during an interview day on campus for those specialty scholarships as well. In terms of our, and lastly, in terms of our Office of Inclusion and Equity, they host things like Pride Week, which actually just passed, which is a fun time on campus. There were drag shows, there were pop-up workshops, there was ally training offered. So it was a really fun week on campus. And then they also support things like our Queer House. We have 37 residence halls on campus. 30 of them are houses that line Main Street, Collegeville, and they're all themed. So that's actually one of my other favorite things on campus. Well, thank you. I don't know where we are with time.
John, you still have a little bit more time, but if you're finished, that's fine.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you so much for presenting on Ursinus, and I hope we'll get your contact information in the chat. And definitely to our attendees, please be checking the chat so that you can get all that contact information there. All right, we are moving on to our next school, and that would be Knox College.
Hello, thank you all so much for coming out here to learn a little bit about Knox College. My name is Kyron Blissett. My pronouns are he, him, his, and I'm a Knox College admissions counselor. I'm joined by my colleague here, Lane.
Hi, everybody. My name is Lane Vestal. My pronouns are they, them. I am also a Knox College admission counselor.
Wonderful. And we're here to tell you a little bit about Knox College and our student life here. So getting everything started, we are a school of about 1,200 students who are represented from a wider range of people, places, coming from so many different areas. We're located in Galesburg, Illinois, about 3 hours south of Chicago. And here are some numbers about our students and some of the people who you could be studying with here at Knox.
So we are also one of the 40 colleges that change lives. So much like Ursinus, we are very proud of that fact. So if you ever come visit campus, we're definitely going to give you a little excerpt from that book. We love it.
Wonderful. And if you are looking to apply to Knox College, here are some of our stats. And we like to be completely open and honest about this entire process with you all. So we typically admit between 65 to 70% of our students with an average unweighted GPA of 3.5. Now that's an average. So for every 4.0, we're seeing a 3.0, and you really want to see you for who you are. Same thing with the ACT and SAT. We are a test optional school. So that means we want to see what your best foot is. And if your best foot is not in standardized tests, that is something that we completely understand and we want to see what it is that makes you you and what it is that you are proud about. Some other things about our students are.
So how does it feel here? Things about our students and about our whole population of Knox. It's busy, but it's not chaotic. It is productive, but not exclusively goal-oriented. It's collaborative, but not competitive, philosophical, but not pretentious, friendly, but not shallow, unapologetically smart, and human. We're all about the human-powered Knox experience here. We're very much in between on a lot of things. You know, we're not a huge school, we're not a teeny tiny school. Galesburg is not a huge city, but it's not a teeny tiny city. So we're kind of like that all over the board.
Wonderful. And now some ways that we want to support you as a student. Here at Knox, we really do believe in giving you an opportunity to get involved in whatever that looks like through research and creative work, with about 90% of our students involve themselves in some form of higher-based education. I'm actually a Knox alum myself, and I was able to do my research while I was abroad in Japan, studying different scrolls and arts through internships, going out, exploring different communities, being involved with their service or companies, and with studying abroad. We want our students to see the world. And this Power of Experience grant is a grant for $2,000 we are giving to every single one of our students to use your third or fourth year for anything I just got done talking about.
So how we manage to make all of these things happen, our academic calendar really helps for our students to be able to take part in these experiential learning experiences. So we are on the term system rather than the semester system. So we have 3 10-week terms in our academic calendar, during which you will take 3 classes during each term. There are some dates up here that show when they start and stop. So you'll have a very long winter break is one of the biggest benefits. We get out right before Thanksgiving and we don't come back until after New Year's. So there's so much time to take advantage of, to possibly get that valuable experience during break or even, you know, during one of our terms. It just makes the schedule a lot more flexible.
And a great way to utilize all of the time you'll have is through our large list of programs. This list of majors alone is just an abridged list. We have a couple of newer programs we're offering. We want this list to be growing with you and your interests. None of these majors will tell you what you have to do. Instead, they will get you where you are trying to go. And that's something that I think is super wonderful here at Knox.
Absolutely. And just a little overview here of affording Knox. So we have academic merit scholarships. We also offer financial aid, need-based scholarships. So one of the biggest defining factors about Knox when it comes to financial aid is that we have this thing called the Knox factor, where you write this very brief little essay about what makes you you. Why do you think that you deserve merit scholarships? And based on that essay is how we really determine how much merit scholarships that we'll give you. So you really have a lot of power in gaining your financial aid from Knox.
So what will you be doing after Knox? We are someplace that really does care about where you're trying to go. One of my RAs when I was a student here actually told me that Knox was a place that cared just as much about where they want to go as they do themselves. And these numbers, I think, really do show that this works. Knox is a place that will support you while you're a student and when you leave. But we also want to talk to you all about what it means to be LGBTQ plus here at Knox through different things that we have. The biggest thing that I am forward by is our Intercultural Life Office. This is located in our Hope Center at campus, and they are committed to making sure that our campus is inclusive, whether areas of race, gender, socioeconomic class, ability, and also one's gender identity. This is something that means a lot to us. And we always like to highlight Tiana Cervantes. She is an amazing human being who is our executive director for diversity, equity, and inclusion. She is someone who is paramount for a lot of the amazing things here at Knox, and she's an amazing advocate for our queer students.
Yes, and we also offer different residential areas and organizations for the queer community. So the Queer and Ally House, you can live amongst your community and amongst a lot of other LGBTQ plus resources that we offer here at Knox.
Thank you all so much for your time, and I hope you enjoy the rest of this day.
See, even after all the time, I can press unmute. Thank you so much to both of you for presenting on Knox College. Well, we have reached the end of the formal part of our presentation. Unfortunately, SUNY Potsdam was not able to join us today, but we do hope, and they hope as well, that you will head to their website to learn all about the programs that they have to offer on their campus and get in touch with the admissions staff so that you can ask questions and dive in more to what they have to offer. We still have a little bit of time together this evening, and so I want to make sure that all of our representatives have had time to get their contact information in the chat, that our attendees are able to get that information. Think of any last questions for the Q&A box. While we're doing that, I have some live Q&A questions. So I'd like to invite one representative from each of our schools to come back on camera. We'll kind of all pop up together. Awesome. So I'm going to pose and start with our first question, and then if we have time, we'll hit a few more. We'll go in the exact same order for answering that you presented. So we'll start with Elizabethtown College and work our way to Knox. When the representative ahead of you finishes, just feel free to turn on your microphone. We'll flow person to person. I won't call on you each as we go. All right. So for our first question, what unique campus event or program is specific to the LGBTQ plus community at your school?
I think the 5K and it coincides the night before with the drag show that we do every year. It's a long-standing tradition. It's so popular. And I just think it's a great way to have fun and also invite the community on the campus and also in our town, come and watch the show. It's just fantastic.
I mentioned it briefly, but our Pride After Dark celebration is such a school favorite. It's led by our Diversity and Inclusion Committee, which is an advocacy group part of our Student Government Association. So the sexuality and gender advocates create this event, and it does involve like drag queen performances, but also student dance, music, stepping from our cultural Greek orgs, and we involve everyone on campus. Athletes are there, graduate students are there, faculty and staff are sometimes there as well. And so it's just a wonderful coming together of our whole community.
So at UConn, I kind of already mentioned, we do have our Rainbow Center. It's going into its 24th year in September. So that's very exciting. I know we will have a celebration for that. As I mentioned, we have socials every Friday, and then Wednesdays, we do have different lecture series. We did have a colloquium this past year where 5 students, undergraduate and graduate students, actually presented on some of their research. So we do have a lot of different things going on campus. We do have an event calendar posted on our website as well. So we do have tons of different things, not just specific to UConn, but we do have different groups that come to campus to present and speak on different things as well.
I think my favorite event on campus is Performer in Transition, and I think I might have heard like some echoes of a similar event at some of the other schools, but essentially it's a huge celebration, lots of performances, music, and a lot of food, and it's just a lot of fun. It's something that alumni, faculty, and staff and students turn out for every year.
Yeah, so like I said, I am actually a Knox alum. I graduated here in 2020. And something that I really appreciate as a queer student at Knox was actually our Day of Dialogue. It's something that we offer twice a year during an Institute Day. So when all classes are canceled, we have a big day of dialogue. And it's a day that we are not going to shy away from these difficult discussions about gender, sexuality, race in these areas. And I think it was such a welcoming, affirming spot for people to go to have their voices heard, to discuss these topics that are really important to us and our student body. I feel like that was heard not only by the students, but the faculty, the higher ups at campus. And it was a really wonderful thing that I think really showed off how much Knox cares about this stuff and wants to make our community and our little spot here better.
I hope that for anyone watching, you're curious about these events and programs and you think, I'm gonna go check them out. So I'm sure everyone would say, check out their social media, come, look on their website, see what the students are doing and what it looks like, to see if you can like picture yourself there as a part of all of this. All right, so for our next question, are there any new steps or new initiatives that you have coming onto campus that you're working on to continue to grow in being an inclusive community for your LGBTQ plus students and your campus, environment as a whole? And we'll go in the same order. So thank you, Carrie, for starting us off again.
Yes. one thing that we're doing is actually more support related that I think is really terrific. And it's for every student that comes in, that's a part of this community or, of different people of color, anything like that, they each get a staff or faculty member as a mentor. They get a student mentor and they get an alum mentor to help guide them through the college experience and to be leaned on to as someone to talk to or give advice. And also just to build friendships and connections with. And I just think it's such a wonderful network that we're building, and we're introducing that next year. And I think it's just really special.
So in addition to our always expanding support and resources, we're also really concentrating on how we can incorporate LGBTQ topics and support into academics as well as career support. So after completing the Campus Pride Index, we got a 3.5. One area is academics because we're STEM, right? So how can we incorporate a lens of gender and sexuality into STEM? And that might be highlighting queer researchers and scientists like Alan Turing and understanding their stories better. So that's something we're focusing on moving forward, as well as expanding our resources, particularly focused around LGBTQ friendly employers in STEM fields.
Yeah, so I would probably similarly echo what Liliana just said. I don't think specifically we have anything that is in the works moving, but I think we're always trying to increase and improve all of the services that we already have for our students. We do have a 4.5 out of 5 on the Pride Index, so we are a pretty inclusive and supportive environment for students, no matter what walk of life you're coming from, where you're coming from, sexual orientation, anything. So I think we're always trying to continue that and support our students in whatever way we can. And a lot of that I think comes from the students and their the reception that we get from them. So I think there will continue to be more programs and things at the Rainbow Center, which is sponsored by the Office of Diversity and Inclusion. So just continuing to try and support and break into different opportunities to support our students.
And not to totally copy Daniel or Liana, but I would totally agree and just echo that. I think Ursinus does a really good job of supporting all of our students and is coming up with new creative initiatives every year. So.
Yeah, so actually someone that we're hoping to add to our intercultural life office here at campus is a new LGBTQ plus campus director, someone whose whole job is to make sure that the needs of the students are being met by the higher ups on campus. I think that is a role that I think taking, again, a little bit of chunk out of Tiana's stuff, adding yet another person who can be an advocate for the students kind of on that higher level is something that means a lot to us. Not to mention that, but also our addition of our peace and justice studies pioneer, as well as a public policy program, are two things that are rooted with our queer students, our students of color, as a thing that people who want to get involved in the world around them, people who want to make this place a better place, both at Knox, outside of Knox, in their home communities. This is something that really means a lot to me, and I'm really, really excited to see what these two programs are able to do.
This is awesome to hear all of these different ideas, different experiences that have been going on, and the new initiatives that you are all taking. So we are just going to take a quick pause for a moment because it turns out our SUNY Potsdam representative is in the other sessions. We're going to check on that in a moment. So I'm going to get ready to wrap us up in just a minute. But to the person who just messaged me, please check the chat immediately. We will be able to connect with you quickly. And thank you to all of our representatives and everyone who's watching for hanging tight. I appreciate your patience and understanding right now. So technology, we all know how that goes. So okay, so everyone, as we are getting ready to wrap up, I just want to say thank you so much to all of our representatives who have been here today, who are sharing not just those facts and figures that are the dates, the deadlines, the finances, but if you could you share the energy, the excitement, the passion you have for your students' experience and in and out of the classroom. For our students, anyone watching recordings, parents, family, we hope that maybe there was 1 or 2 schools that drew you here, and they will, but now you're thinking, I have to check out all of these schools. I need to learn more. I need to dig in. I need to reach out to these admissions staff. We hope that you are more curious, and this is going to help you in that college search and decision journey. All right, now for the official closing announcements. We will get to those in just 1 second. I would love everyone to know that when we close the window, there's going to be a very short, very brief 5-question survey that will appear for our students. We hope that you'll answer those questions and you'll take the time to do that. We appreciate it. We hope you'll sign up for additional sessions that are coming. We have more information that's available about those programs that you can still sign up for at strivescan.com/New Jersey. And then also know this session and all sessions are being recorded. And so you will be able to watch them again, share them, and be able to follow up, share with family and friends, and watch it again.